Oh, hello and welcome back to the Novice Lumberjack, where I'm standing here with my best running 60cc Poulan. This is a Poulan Pro 330 Type 3, which means from the factory it actually came with the 60cc cylinder, not the 54cc cylinder. So this is the same thing as a Super 380, but for whatever reason, it came marked as a 330. Now, there are some people out there, for good reason, that think that probably this one just had the cylinder swapped out. It didn't come from the factory this way. There's no way of telling. The sticker on the gas tank is gone, but from my experience, they fall off. And, you know, I mean, it just is what it is. It's an absolutely pristine condition. I got a brand new Poulan 5020 bar and put on here. Now, these things are actually set up, they're Husky small mount bars, but just a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of grinding on the holes and everything. It fits perfect. It's great. So, this is my best Poulan high top. All right, I've got a lot of Poulan high tops at this point. My collection is quite vast, let's say. And I've just got another one, thanks to Eric Salyer. He found a good deal up in Ohio, and he asked if I was interested, and he went and snagged it for me, and he's going to ship it to me. So I'll have that, and that's a 3450. It's a 3450 that came with the brake lever, which is very uncommon. So anyways, happy to get that. Don't know what I'll do with it. We'll see whenever it gets here what good a shape it's in. I'll probably make a 3450 bad boy clone out of it. What makes it a bad boy? Purple plastics and decals, really. That's the only thing. So I can do that. So we'll see what I do with it in the future. I don't know. But for now, we're going to test this thing out. I do have a Super 380, but it's a little bit weary. You know, it's a little bit worn, a little bit tired. It needs a refresh. And I mean, it still runs great and everything, but this thing's definitely got a little bit more oomph to it. And so we're going to go ahead and put it in the wood real quick, see how it does. I do have, on a bar like this that I want to keep pretty as long as I can, I clear coat them. And this has already been clear coated a while back. I've ran it very little, and I will continue to run it very little because I want it to stay in pristine condition. But let's see how it does in the wood. Oh, stop you. Oh. It's got a Husqvarna C83 chain on it. That felt really fast. I mean, really, really nice. I really ought to break into this thing and see if it's been ported, because it does run very, very good. And if it has, then that's going to be probably a clear indication that it's not a from the factory Type 3. But it still has a base gasket on there, and I don't know. I think it's stock. This thing's just too clean not to be stock. That's what I think. But frickin' runs So good. And these C83s, man, they're the best chains there are. So they just are. They're the best. They cut so much better than a steel RS. Way, way, way better than Oregon EXL. The only downfall that they have is whenever you sharpen them, they lose the factory edge, and the factory edge is the best edge that you can get for a round file, you know. But this cuts just as fast, and in most cases faster than a square grind chain in my red oak from my testing. I mean, your testing may be different, but that is a out of the box chain. There ain't nothing special done to it. It cuts like that out of the box in red oak. My gosh, they just cut so dang good. Yeah, so we'll put it up against the Red Max, see if it can outcut that, and if it does, we'll put it up against the Dire Wolf, see if it outcuts it. One thing that it definitely has going for it that the Dire Wolf doesn't, I feel like this thing has considerably more RPM. It probably actually has more RPM than the Red Max as well, because, I mean, it says right on here, 13,800 RPM is your max free spin. And I usually end up falling right around 13,200 on my tunes. That's where they seem to run best and everything. So in the cut, it wouldn't be surprising if in the cut it's actually cutting at 10.5. If I'm doing everything right on my end, you know, keeping it in its power. But great running saw. The only one that I have that would potentially cut better than this is the one that Dino Joe ported for me. But that thing has bad crank bearings, and I still have yet to actually tear into it and fix that. And so we won't know what it's capable of until that happens. But for right now, let's go back in the garage and do a bullshit session. All right. So, as always, my workspace is a total mess. But I told you guys, or I told a commenter, I can't remember. Somebody mentioned that I need to learn how to sharpen a knife. Well, I can do pretty good. I've never been like really, really good and get it to cut the hairs on my arm kind of thing. I've never been that good, but I can put a pretty good edge on a knife. So I went ahead and I sharpened this up. But surprisingly, brand new, it didn't have a very good edge on it. But I told somebody in the comments I would tell them the story of this right here. And I'm going to do that while we're looking at this. This right here is, wow, I'm going to have a mess to clean up. The Craftsman 3.3 XP. Oh, he's got it double wrapped. Oh. Very excited for this saw right here. Ta-da! The 3.3 XP. Now, you may be wondering, why is it called an XP? Well, if you watch the channel, you know that I've been working towards this right here for quite some time. I had this idea that a 346 XP cylinder could go on one of these. This is the small block high top, Poulan high top, that's all it is. But they have an open port setup, and I just figured, you know what? I bet you 346 XP could be made to work on there. And so I had help, right? Just like the Beatles. Didn't they the one? No, not Beatles. Who was it? Otis Redding? Got a little help from his friends. A little help from my friends. All I need is my brother. Yeah, I think it was Otis Redding. Anyways, Brennan Cass, he's got a video of what he did to this, showcasing how he hooked it up to the cases. He had to do some machine work. He had to make a spacer plate and stuff like that. So he got the cylinder to mount to the base. And then I sent it to Garrett Barker. Garrett Barker's up in Ohio, and he can build a good saw. And I asked him if he was interested in doing it. He said, sure, go ahead. Send it to me. So we'll take just the quickest look possible at this carburetor setup, see what he's got going on here. But there'll be more details. Look at that. Oh God, that is so exciting. I gotta show you guys. Look at that mother, right? Screw the filter. Let's just make this thing crank. Now, he told me what carburetor is on here, but I'm probably going to get it wrong. I'd have to look at his texts again to see, but I believe it's a 390, Husqvarna 390 carburetor on here. I definitely do know that it's a Chinese-made one. So there's that. He also says that there's some bugs to work out with it for sure, you know, and maybe I'll be able to do that. We'll see. Not going to run it in this video, that's for sure. So let's just put it right back together and continue our BS session. Because I know if you've gotten this far, you probably like my BS sessions. So we'll keep rolling with it. Yeah, he ain't got the choke hooked up or anything. So he did say it's going to take a squirt of fuel to get it going. But I got to dye this plastic cover or paint it, one or the other. It's got to be black because I call this saw Black Magic. This is Black Magic, and I have dreamed about turning this into a really fast get-together saw for a while. And I'm really eager to see what it'll do. I don't think that it's going to be as fast as Garrett's 2050 is, because he's got a 0.5 millimeter more stroke there. He didn't have the limitations that he came into play with putting it on this chassis and stuff. So, excuse me. So there's that. Let's feel that. Oh, she's poppy. That's nice. That's very nice. Very, very nice. You know what? Let's see if it'll fire. Come on. Come on. Let's see if it'll fire. I mean, I got gas sitting right here. Why not? Right? There we go. I didn't put that much in there. You got to prime it. You got to get it going. Yes, you'll fire. That's just too cool. Still got this cough from Alaska. Man. Constantly. So anyways. At this point, I just ran the 330 Type 3, so I have no idea which saw is beat the other. So this is truly just a BS. Oh, that got bent. How'd that must got bent in shipping. The dog got bent real gnarly, but should be able to bend that back, no problem. And on a race saw, you're not even going to run it. So anyways, so let's talk about this knife and why I have it. So I got this in Fairbanks, Alaska. I typically, whenever I go places, I like to get a knife to represent that I went to that place. You know, some people like guns. I've never caught that bug myself. I mean, I've got them, but they're just tools for me. They're like a wrench. I don't find any enjoyment in a gun. But a knife, on the other hand, ooh, I can look at the craftsmanship of a knife and really enjoy it. This has buffalo horns for the handle. It's Damascus steel. Might as well go ahead and do a close-up for you. It's a very nice blade. And I've already forgotten the name of where it was made, who made it and stuff. But whatever. The point is somebody on, I think my last video, I think it was just last night. Maybe it was Saturday. Anyways, point is somebody left a comment that was like saying something about next time you go into Atlanta, what chainsaw are you going to bring in order to fight off the Antifa thugs? And I didn't know what he was talking about really, and I just didn't pay it no attention. And I was like, okay, whatever, I don't know. And I should throw this out here. I don't mind that comment. That this isn't me complaining. No, this is talking points. I got to have things to talk about. When any of you guys write comments, I talk about them. So, but anyways, about 5 hours after that comment, my wife sees that somehow there's some sort of rioting going on in Atlanta. And so I was like, what? You know? And it got me to thinking, I was like, man, it's so crazy how people outside of big cities know what's going on most of the time way faster than the people who live in the cities. We don't have any idea what's going on. So I literally live in Atlanta. I'm right on the outskirts of it for sure. But I live on 23 acres, so if you came to my place, it's like going out to the country, you know. So it's probably not what you'd think of whenever you think of Atlanta. But I do actually, in fact, live in Atlanta. That's my address and everything. And, well, I grew up in a very, very small town in Kentucky. It's called South Shore, Kentucky. Look it up. Very small town. Very, very small town. And I always hated the big city, and I never wanted to live in any cities, ever. It's just like the worst thing ever. Well, whenever I met my wife, she had a house in the city, and I was renting. So it only made sense that we moved to her place, you know. I didn't like that idea at all. But then I moved to the city, and after living there, oh boy, did everything change. The stereotypes and the things that I had in my head about what Atlanta was like, I have been proven wrong time and time and time again. Literally, some of the kindest, most gracious, helpful people I've known in my life, I have met in the city of Atlanta. And so it's like, the stereotypes and the things that are in our heads, whenever you experience things firsthand, it's like, oh no, it ain't that bad. You know, actually, it's pretty good. Now, I don't really care about Atlanta. I'm not like trying to talk highly of it. I'm not. I'm just trying to say, man, the things that we think about people and situations are so different. Like all the people on YouTube that battle back and forth with each other and bicker and have this hard time with each other. If you met them in person, you'd be like, that guy's great. You know? But we tend to judge quickly. I do as well. I'm not immune to that. But my aunt, it's actually my wife's aunt, whenever she was still around, whenever she would drive into the city to visit us, doors locked. She made sure and fueled up where she lived before she came into the city, so that she wouldn't have to be at a gas station, because she thought that was just the most unsafe place in the world, a gas station in Atlanta, you know. My best friend back home in Kentucky, whenever he comes down for any reason, he's got a sister that lives in Middle Georgia, something like that, and he makes sure that he doesn't ever stop in Atlanta, because to say scared is wrong, because that makes it sound like he's jittery and all this stuff. No, he's not scared, but he's really wary of the city, and boy, he doesn't want to be stopped in the city. And he's got his gun with him all the time. I had another friend, we were doing a film shoot. My old 65 Ranchero got so much attention from so many people. And we stopped to get gas, and there was a man that was just talking with me about my car. Wow, look at this thing, man. What year is this? Oh, it's 1960, this kind of stuff. And then when we leave and we finally get to where we're going, the passenger of my friend in the other vehicle was like, oh yeah, Nick had his hand on his gun the whole time. He thought for sure he was going to have to shoot that guy that was talking to you. I was like, what? The guy was just talking with me about my car, But, so, here's what I'm getting at. The crazy crime-riddled cities that you see in your rural towns, right? You see them on the news. Another shooting took place, road rage spawned this. There's rioting, and there's this police vehicle got set on fire. One could say that I've grown immune to it, I guess, but it just doesn't happen nearly as often as you think. And the news loves to share the negative. They just throw that out there constantly. So, all kinds of stuff happen that I don't even know of. None of my friends even know of until the day after. And it's like, what? And so, on the news, they make it sound like it's this crazy apocalyptic thing going on. But in reality, that's just some shitheads over there in the seedy part of town that we don't even go to. So it's like, So all of that stuff, like rioting. What it turned out, some shithead got shot. He shot a cop, or he shot at a cop or something like that, and the cop shot him. And then, there's some people that set that cop's car on fire or something like that. It's like, hey, I get it. If you're a cop in this city on the bad parts of town, you might have a different story to tell. But for me and where I live, I don't know, it's quiet. It's quiet, So, it's just the media, man. Media sucks. All the stuff that they say is happening, that, the right's doing this or the left's doing this. No, they ain't. It's a tiny fraction of people. A tiny, tiny fraction of people that are pissing and moaning or causing a problem. The rest of us, we're all just the same. So I don't get caught up in all that shit, And I know whoever posted that remark, I know you just playing and stuff, and, it was a fine comment, but it gave me something to talk about. So that's all. I was like, I can remember the first time I ever came to Atlanta. I was scared. Everyone looked different than me. You know what I'm saying, right? And I'd never been I'm just a small town boy from Kentucky. But you know, whenever you're in this situation and you live it, things look quite a bit differently, you know? It's just, same thing with people bickering on YouTube. I say this, you know, yeah, I really like it, but, you know, I feel like it could be a little bit stronger, you know. And that's just a statement. But then somebody will take that and run with it and go, that guy's an asshole. I can't believe he said that. Garrett did a good job. Come on. Let people talk and be not so judgmental and stuff, you know. But Atlanta, I don't like any big city. That's why I live out here in the country. I don't like living in Atlanta. But as far as the people go, no problem. Oh, the knife. So the knife, I was in Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks, Alaska. All right? I'm a white guy in Fairbanks, Alaska. If there's any place I thought that I would fit in, it would be fucking Fairbanks, Alaska. The very first trip that I took downtown where I was walking. I had my big military coat on, right? I've got this big military coat that my daughter got for me because she's in the Air Force, right? That thing was very warm too. I turn around a corner, basically, and there's these two young kids there. And now I'm young, I'm probably 22, early 20s, let's say. And they did something really stupid, right? It was nothing more than kids spouting off at the mouth, right? But I'm just walking, and I hear, "Sir!" I mean, it came out like that. "Sir!" And I looked, and one of them goes, "Thank you for your service." You know, he was just being just being a kid. You know, just being a little douchebag, really. But then the other one, he looks at me and he goes, "Auf Wiedersehen." Okay, so telling you like this, it probably sounds stupid, and it was stupid. But if I wasn't 6'2", 210 pounds, and a certified badass, I could have gotten really scared by that. It was a very intimidating and aggressive posturing by both these young males. And I thought, well, damn, really? Are they fucking with me because I've got this military jacket on? I think they are. I didn't pay much mind to it. I kept on going, but I did think, dang, if I was a small guy or an older gentleman or a lady, yeah, I'd be really frightened by those two guys. I just kept going. Not 10 minutes down the road, somebody hangs their head out the window and yells at me. They didn't really hang their head up, but they rolled their window down. We're talking, this is 5-degree weather. They rolled their window down to yell something at me. I don't know what they said, but they yelled at me and kept on driving. And I thought, I need to go get a knife now. And instead of getting a pocket knife, which I normally get, I got a hunting knife. And I thought that was so odd that in Fairbanks, Alaska, I felt more intimidated there than I've ever felt anywhere I've ever been in Atlanta. Isn't that crazy? Now, just showing the knife would make nearly anyone back away. But I was just like, I'm definitely getting a hunting knife put on my hip because I'm not getting into a fight in 5-degree weather. I'm just going to kill him. I'll just kill him. Leave him lay there in the snow and bleed out. I don't care. But anyways, just saying, it just goes to show you, it's like, I live in Atlanta, and I never get intimidated by anybody here. Nobody does that kind of stuff. Even the homeless people that come up to you and beg, they're fine, you know. Go away. And they go away. Out in Denver, Colorado, Those homeless people were aggressive as shit. I mean, really aggressive. Hey, what's the matter? Come on, I know you got some more money than that. What? You know? The world's different than it was whenever we were growing up. That's for sure. But I literally bought this pocket knife, or this hunting knife in Alaska, in Fairbanks, Alaska, because I was like, you know what? I don't know the way they feel about military people around here. I don't know. And yes, they were natives. I think every single person that yelled at me, I got yelled at twice and I got confronted once. I just kept going, you know. But they were all natives. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not from there. I don't know the storyline about that. All I know is with all the crime that happens in Atlanta, I've never once been intimidated here by anybody. So you stay out of the trouble areas and you stay out of trouble. That's how you handle it.